Good evening. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Man Cave. We've got Brother Jeff in Florida. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Doing good, buddy.
And we have our special guest tonight, Miss Cema Santos. Did I pronounce that correctly?
That's right.
Good. And upstairs in the penthouse suites of the Man Cave Studios, we have Tanya once again. So it's Thursday. I want to welcome everybody back to the Man Cave, and I think I'm going to kick off my Thursday night just like we do every night. We're going to have a little Knob Creek single barrel reserve to kick things off. Jeff, are you having a drink with us tonight?
Sure am. Having me a little Jack number 7.
There we go. Sema's drinking with us early in the morning. She's already showed us what she's got.
Black coffee, very strong.
Black coffee. Tanya, are you? Do you have the ginger ale rolling upstairs?
No, I have hot chocolate.
Tanya's made hot chocolate. Oh boy,
Oh, yeah.
excellent. Beth, glad you could make it. Let me get kicked over where I can see the chat window here. Ryan's with us. Anthony, Janice, Andy, Beth, Andrew, Russ. Glad you could make it. I need to make a quick public service announcement for those of you that follow my kamatoguru.com forum. I'm having technical problems over there that have not been resolved yet. That website has become basically unusable during the last few days, and I've been online with the technical support, and they haven't figured me out yet. They can't seem to see the problem that I'm having for some reason. But I just want you to know that I am working on that, and hopefully we'll have that website back up and running smoothly again here at some point. So that is that. So cheers, everybody. If you're having a drink with us tonight, let me know in the comments what you're having and where you are. Tanya, we'll bring you back shortly. Thanks for what you're doing up there. Okay. Cema, I'd like for you just to take a moment to introduce yourself.
How much details do you want?
Whatever you're willing to share.
So, yeah, I am Brazilian, living in Perth for the last 25 years, and upskilling my barbecue skills.
So, how long have you been into barbecue?
I believe since I was inside of my mom's womb.
Mm.
Because my mom used to barbecue for us in the backyard, but old days was the only barbecue that I knew it. The little very heavy iron grill, let's say like a little cone, and it was very shallow. But we had, as living in the Amazon, we had always fish on the Sundays. It was a special meal for us, having the whole family together. And my mom was always barbecuing for us. And growing up in South Brazil, I was born in North Brazil because my parents migrated to that. So South Brazil is very well known by the barbecue, the picanhas and everything. So I got very interested in that too and started learning. But I tell you, it was very, very hard to me to break the mold of only man barbecue here in this state. So when I moved to south of Brazil, was not easy for me to get into the barbecue there.
Well, so you've been cooking over fire all your life.
Yes, that's right.
Well, and I agree. There are fewer women, or at least in the social media arena where I live most of my barbecue life. There are not as many women. We have some women here that are online with us tonight. Beth and Carla and Janice. I think Janice was Janice in there. Did I see?
Yeah,
her
Janice is
head?
here.
Yeah, we've got a few here, and it's also Sam. I'm going to admit to you, it's very difficult. You are the first female barbecue enthusiast that I've been able to talk into coming online live with us. I've tried a few others and haven't been successful with that yet. So but
Oh, that's nice.
I'm glad you could make it. And there
I'm so
are,
happy.
yeah, I think there's a lot of women doing this that have a lot to share, and I've learned a lot just from watching everybody. Just I don't think you're, I don't think the sex of the cook has much to do with how talented one might be when it comes to cooking. I don't know why, but barbecue. I don't know here, Jeff. Would you agree that here in the U.S. the cooking over fire outside is traditionally a male role here?
Yep. Yep.
I'm not. I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. Is
Yeah.
it the same way in Australia?
Basically, it's something that I have been uh, like getting the information about fire and the relationship between fire and the role of being a man and a woman. And I have been looking for an anthropologist that can explain these kind of things to me because I have been talking to friends. Do you know an anthropologist that can give me this kind of information? I have been looking as a medical researcher. I have been researching everywhere. I couldn't find anything that would give me that information. So what I see is inside of the kitchen, despite we have fire over the stove, women are allowed to touch the fire or be
Right.
around the fire. But as you cross the door to outside is the main role. And I don't know when this started. My guess is because man was hunting, coming and bringing the food and probably cooking over the fire. And if the woman was doing something else, I don't know what she was doing, but
Yeah. Right.
basically was perpetuate this way and how we can break this mold. It's not the question of being feminist and we are equal because we are not. The question is you do whatever you want to do if you are a man or woman. And
Mhm.
yeah,
So Jeff, do you think maybe it goes all the way back to the Stone Age? Do you
Probably.
think it? You think it's? I don't know that
Back when
it's.
they used to drag the women around by their hair, with the
Well,
club
I
over
have a
their
good
heart.
hair.
the cartoons, back. I don't know. It's a definitely a typecast situation. It's interesting, and I've never really thought about it in depth, and maybe it's because I'm male, but I've in the world of social media, there are a lot of women out there that are really doing a lot of neat things with barbecue, and one of them's Australian that lives here in Texas. What's her name? Uh,
Yeah, I
the
have seen
hardcore
her.
carnivore lady,
Yes, yes,
Jess
she's
Price.
amazing.
Jess, yeah.
Yeah,
I've not met her. I've not met her. I've talked to her on a couple occasions way back, but she uh, she does a lot of great things. If you've
yeah.
seen all of her stuff,
Yes, yes, I have. So the idea is going to America next year and do a tour around the American barbecue and get the
mhm,
to know these people that are very inspirational
right? Who
and
are you
have a
looking
barbecue
forward to
together.
seeing when you come?
Now I'm doing a list yet. It's still like a secret. No
Yeah,
announced yet. But probably I will be there with you guys.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of famous barbecue here. I mean, are you going to Texas?
Probably. I know I'm going to Chicago, something in California, or somewhere in California, and Texas for sure. I'm going to
Right.
Texas.
I don't know what kind of barbecue you're going to find in Chicago and California, but I'm sure there's some.
Well, I
D-
can knock the doors and ask to barbecue with them and show what I can
Now,
do.
don't get me wrong. There's more to food than barbecue, and there's good cuisine wherever you go. You just have to know what to look for. But if you're going to be in Texas, that's where I would look for my barbecue, unless you're coming further east. Um,
Mom is in the house.
oh, my mom's here.
Ah,
Oh
Your mom's
boy.
in the house.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
hello, Mama.
Jeff, my mom wants to meet you, so
She
Oh,
does.
yeah, we got to make that. My mom's got some relatives that don't live too far from where you are, so you, mom may show up at your doorstep one day. So,
Door's always open.
well, what I wanted to do was have a look at some of your social media. Do you prefer where's your primary? social media platform? Is it Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah,
So I
because
have that.
social, I got the Facebook more as a mirror of the Instagram, but early days I didn't use much Facebook. I
Right.
do more now.
So I've got that pulled up here, and guys, it's the.bbq.queen is
Hmm.
her Instagram page here. So you're definitely going to want to follow her and keep up with what she's doing. I'm going to clip that here for a moment, and I'm going to put that up as a banner here. Hold on just a second. I'll edit this.
Okay.
We'll put it in here, and let's see. There we go. We'll let that run. That way, some people have access to your link. So
Okay.
you like making short video clips. I've seen that. You do more video content than just still photography, right?
Yeah, I have some photographies as well. But when I'm editing my videos, I it's something that I have been learning how to do it. And I tell you, when people ask me, what's the biggest challenge that you have barbecuing every day? And I say to them, barbecue is not a big problem for me. I love it and it's part of my DNA, I can say. However, this social media is something. So thinking that I post on the same day when I make the barbecues, I work the whole day, finish the barbecue, and luckily I don't wash the dishes, right? So I have the time then to sit down and make the post. So and for me, putting things together is the big challenge because before my videos, if you see, they were longer because when I started, I didn't know much. So I have been learning, like refining, and now my videos are most of them now are less than 1 minute, so around
Right.
45 minutes, and sometimes 20 minutes, 20 oh yeah, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So yeah, I'm getting better and better. Still a lot to learn about it, but I'm
Well,
enjoying
the
so
1 minute
much.
the 1 minute thing I think is important these days because one of the things I'm noticing with the content that I make, uh, the more popular stuff is the shorter content
Yes,
because our attention spans are shrinking daily
yes, that's
to
right.
something.
Yes, that's
So
right.
Huh?
yeah, and right, Jeff knows. We've talked about this before. So I'm looking at this one post on your Instagram here. Tell me about this piece of beef. Is that beef that's hang on, it's
Yes, it
scrolling.
was last night. Well, last night, entranha, the little entranha.
I'm not
And
familiar with that one.
so entranha is mainly an Argentina cut, and it's very thin and very full of fat as well. And then it's easy and quick to barbecue. So I have entranhas always in my fridge in case my day is too long. I don't have much time. So this barbecue I made in half an hour, even including the fire, because before the fire was something like big for me to work with the kamado. But now I mix the charcoals and get the right portion of charcoals that makes quicker barbecue. And if I need to smoke longer, of course, it'll be more barbecue. But this one was a special for yesterday because I had full day in a conference of women in technology. So I came home, it was around 7 p.m. and I had to barbecue. And I opened the fridge, said, well, what's the barbecue today? And then I got the entraña. So yeah, they are very delicious, very tender.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, it's always nice to have something ready to go quickly when you need it.
That's
That
right.
brings me that brings me to another question. First of all, the one of the things you're doing that caught my attention the first time I saw it was your 365-day project. Tell us about that.
Well, I always loved barbecue and has been always part of my life. Like not every day, but it was at least every week. And I got a point in my life when I stopped barbecuing. Uh, for some personal reasons that I had, and I was missing. But as I was going to barbecues at friends' place, then my husband asked me, "Why every time when we are invited to go to a barbecue, you end up making the barbecue? Why don't you come and socialize with everyone while someone is barbecuing?" And I was like, because I like barbecue, and I was missing. I was not making much barbecue at home, and then also came to the point when I must disclaim that I'm so workaholic, and I accumulated over almost 500 hours extra in my organization. We had a meeting. They said you became a liability for us, and you need to get some leave. I could stop to barbecue in January this year until June, and it just be earning my wage and without working. But because I was essential to the project, we made a deal for me to work only 3 days a week, and I was so pissed. I said, and then I said, what can I do? So it was Australian Day, 26th of January. I went to a friend's place, and he was barbecuing, and he has a little Kamado, the one that is the metal one, I believe. Yeah. And then I said to him, look, would you like to teach people how to make barbecue with me? And we can put a channel together. And I said, oh, let's do it. And he's an IT guy. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I came home after that day. And I said to him, I can barbecue in my house, you barbecue in your house, and sometimes we meet each other at my place, and then in your place, and then we show what we are doing. So fine. So I came home, I prepared the logo and everything, all the prospect of the project, and he rang me and said, sorry, I won't be able to do it. I'm not prepared for that. And I was like, I cannot believe it. And this was on 28th of January. And then I said to my man, I said, look, I will barbecue every day for 365 days. And we just had to renovate our backyard. There was no space for any barbecue in that place that it is not right now. And then I said, how come we just don't have more space? I said, wait a minute, do you have bricks outside? He said, yeah, I left barbecue bricks from the construction. And I said, let's get the bricks. And then I put together and made a little brick barbecue. And I started on 28th of January barbecuing. Hot summer in Australia, full of flies around. And I was there barbecuing with the little skewers that I bought because everything I had just get rid of that I had before for the new house. And I started. And then I removed all the trees that we had planted in that space. Removed everything, called the guys to put concrete on, and built a Brazilian barbecue and Australian barbecue. That's the grill, the Ziegler, and then a hot burner in there, and also the Kamado I got as a birthday present in March. My birthday is in May, but I got an earlier one. And then I am so excited with the Kamado, right? So I barely go to the other side of the house to barbecue and my Brazilian barbecue because that is not covered area. So winter is impossible here in Australia to go there at night. It's cold and it's raining. So yeah, so the barbecue now is in the other side of the area, the covered area, and I tell you, it's an addiction. To be
That it is.
Yeah. So you have. Let me see if I've got this straight. You have cured your workaholic problem by becoming a barbecue enthusiast. So now you're dividing your attention between your work and your barbecue, and you've got a good balance now, right?
That's right. That's right. So
Okay.
the other thing who I need to tell you as well, why I made this challenge. I work with highly skilled migrants. We connect them with their career in Australia. And normally when I run the trainings and all the mentoring for them, they come with lots of excuse. I could not do this because, I could not that because. And then I said to them, look, you need to come with a better excuse. Otherwise, I will not accept you. So tell me what you need and I can help you, but don't come with an excuse. And then when I start this, I said, I will show them that any roadblock is possible to go around or jump over. So, but you need to find a solution. And for me, when I put this challenge like in place, I didn't know that I was going to Europe. And I was, now I'm going to Europe. How can I barbecue every day in Europe?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a challenge. Yeah, so I had to some days because I went to visit my son, and he said to me, he lives in a little apartment in Amsterdam, and I said, "Oh, can I barbecue there?" "Oh, mommy, yeah, you buy the little disposable barbecues," and oh, goodness, or you can buy electrical barbecues. So, and I
That's
arrived
right.
there, and I bought one, and almost got my son's and his girlfriend's apartment on fire. Right, the fire alarm was on and everything, but it was raining, and I had no chance to go outside as well. So, when we went to in Rotterdam was my first challenge. How can I make a barbecue now? I don't have the space, I don't have the park, I don't know anyone here. So I knocked the door of the restaurants, and then I said, "Hey, I have this challenge. Would you allow me to use your barbecue to cook my food?"
Mm-hmm.
And the first one said, "Ah, interesting. Yes, but you have a deal here. If you want to cook your barbecue, you need to work."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, I do. What do I need to do?" He said, "You need to serve the tables." So I was serving the tables in exchange to use the barbecue.
Awesome. That was going to bring me to one of my next questions for you. When did you said you got your Kamado Joe for your birthday, and that was in
Mhm.
March. So prior
Yeah.
to that, what did you have a homemade barbecue pit that you were using prior to that?
Yes.
What were you? It was homemade.
Yeah, I had a little one, a little bricks together, but then
Mm-hmm.
I got someone to build a Brazilian barbecue. That is, I don't know if you know the Brazilian barbecues. They are open, same open pit that you have just the front open, but you have like enclosed parts, and you're
Right.
using the skewers and your big
Right.
chimney on the top. So I
Okay.
built that one. I asked someone to build that for me, and also I have the grill to the side.
But
Yeah,
you've fallen in love with the Kamado.
who doesn't?
Yeah.
That's a good question, Jeff. Now, Jeff is more in line with what you're doing. Jeff is one of these people who cooks on his grills in some form just about every day. Jeff, other than hurricane days, have you missed any days on the grills this year?
Maybe a couple, but
Jeff, yeah.
we're still since April of 2017. We've only used the kitchen. I'm going to say right. I think it's 92 times.
And to hit the food only, or
He's
me
cooking
making the
outside
food.
way more than I do. But Jeff lives in Florida.
Oh,
Hey,
And
that's
Jeff,
John, I would live where you are and still cook outside.
well, but see, being retired allows you the time to do that.
Yep.
So, but I'm
I'm not
fascinated with.
retired.
I know that's what fascinate. That's one of the things that I find fascinating is you're working and still barbecuing every day, and you're
She's
getting
like you. She's
close
got a
to.
3-day work week, and just like you.
No,
And what?
no,
Step it up, John.
I have 3 days. 3 days that I work for the government, and the other 3 days I run my business. So
Right.
I work every day. So that's
So
why my long barbecues are only on Sunday when I have time to roast or do long uh, smoking anything. So Sunday is always a day when I used to cook the more elaborate barbecues.
have a look at
Oh,
these
this was a
shrimp.
quick one. This was a quick
Right.
one. Yeah.
So what do we have here?
Here you have prawns, you have fish, sweet potatoes, and peas.
So that's a 20-minute cook,
Yes,
30
very
minutes.
quick.
Yep.
30 minutes go very quick and done. So normally during the week is a quick one. Or that one is the costillas or the beef ribs. This one is a dried aged one. So
Oh
nice.
boy,
And
beef
grass
ribs.
fed.
Look,
Yes.
Jeff, tell her what my favorite meat is.
The same as my favorite meat, beef
The
ribs.
ribs.
Beef
Oh,
ribs.
mine too. Mine
That's
too.
the best. That's the
I'll tell
best
you what,
piece of
that
the
Yes.
cow.
that
I
is.
could eat it every day, so I could eat every day. And then having the tortillas and the chimichurri that I make chimichurri for the whole week, and then the basic chimichurri, and then sometimes I add some fruits inside or something else. But chimichurri is always there for me. It's
Hey Jeff, we
Argentinian
may have
base.
just scored something here with her.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
just
would I would love to have a chimichurri recipe from a Brazilian. That's
Oh, you
got
have a
that's
different
got
chimichurri.
that's got to be tops right there. What do you think,
Yeah.
Jeff? Do you think we should ask her for it?
I hey, we can always ask. Worst you can say is no.
Right. True. So let's look at
Yeah.
some more things here. But those when I saw this, my mouth's watering because I love beef ribs and Jeff loves beef ribs and locally I have a hard time getting really awesome beef ribs, but I know where to get them. I have sources for really awesome beef ribs. So
Yeah. This one was a leftover from my goat that I made, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. And then I had to go to an event at night. So I made this lunch very quickly on the Ziegler, just grilling the vegetables, and I used the leftover goat because I have lots of questions. People asking, how can you cook so much? How many people have in your house, too? Right? And I said, I
right.
have leftovers for lunch or whatever I need. And then I put in the fridge and the freezer. And then when I need it, I use it. And by
Oh
the way, I
boy.
just eat twice a day. I don't eat all the 3 meals.
That looks amazing. Is that zucchini?
Zucchinis, yeah,
Yeah.
zucchinis and
Right.
oregano. And and look, it's something that my life is very, let's say, frugal in terms of everything else than food. So for me, food is it's very important, and I buy the premium food for me
Right.
to eat, for us to eat as a family. And it's something that I learned to invest in food instead of investing something else, like invest like buying clothes. I'm not the kind of women that go buying clothes, shopping all the time. No, I like food. That's my
Well,
priority.
that brings up something that I've talked about before and I've considered it. And I'm going to admit right now that I'm guilty of not always buying the best quality that's available to me when I buy food. And here in the Jeff, help me out here. You know where I'm going with this probably. I've talked about this. We like fine bourbon. We like amazing craft beer. We like people who enjoy cigars love the Cuban and Dominican cigars. You know, the finest available. We treat ourselves on things like that, but when we go to the grocery store or to the market, we're often find ourselves looking for the lower priced options rather
Mhm.
than the better quality things. And I, I, I guess there's always the cost involved, but food is one of the areas where I'm learning over time that those are not the places that I want to save money. Jeff, elaborate on that for me. What are we doing
Walmart
here?
ribs.
Well, that's a different situation. That's an anomaly in the process.
that that is the exception to the rule.
It is.
Yes.
Jeff and I like baby back ribs that come from Walmart.
So,
Those extra meaty baby back ribs that we're able to get here are off the hook. They're the best tasting, and I buy
Uh,
them because of that. But
but you have
that
so
is
many good shoppings in there as well. Like you have plenty. But one thing that I come back to my mom, right? So when my father passed away, my mom she had a little how you call it, a store in the market. So she was selling belts and hats and shoes that she was making. So we were raised with money that my mom would earn selling these products, and of course my father had when he was with his parents. They were farmers, and so the flavor of meat was always there. And and then she raised us this way. So for me, going to the market, it's paying respect to my mom, right? So the way she raised us, and also showing that is anything is possible. You just need to put the effort in there and make it, take the actions. So when I go to the market, the farmers market, it's more to see the family businesses in there working on weekends. to bring the best products. So it's how I feel like I'm coming back home. My little dog now is getting crazy here, but yeah. So that's my respect to my mom, and it's like a connection. Go every time when I go to the markets on Saturday. It's a pleasure. We know everyone there, and they know us, know what we like. We can order things the way we want. So it's a very nice connection doing this kind of thing. So I feel very blessed.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay. We're
So this
having,
is one of the best wines in Western Australia, locally here in the neighborhood. So that one I made camel.
looks amazing.
That it
Oh, it's
does.
amazing. It's
So
amazing.
you're,
And the
you're
meat, the texture, the color is very similar to beef.
look at that, Jeff.
Making
You
my
can get
lips.
Yeah.
well when I was looking through her Instagram earlier today, I was just I got lost in this Instagram page, and I'm asking myself why I'm not doing things like this. Just look at
But when I
that.
saw you cooking as well, and I was looking at your videos on YouTube, you are you have the experience making sweets on the Kamado. So my
Right.
next challenge for Thanksgiving, to please my man, an American man, I will be cooking a turkey, but I believe not on the day, on 24th, because I'm still working and everyone else. So we have friends to come and share with us, but probably over the weekend. So and then I want to do the pumpkin pie and also
Yeah.
a few things. So give me tips about how to cook cakes or bake cakes in the Kamado on the Kamado.
Well, I'm going to be, I have been requested to do a pumpkin pie next week for our Thanksgiving holiday. So I'm going to be doing one. The best tip I can give you on cooking that sort of thing on the Kamado is make sure your Kamado's clean. You're going to want to do a high temperature cleaning in your
Okay.
Kamado and burn all the grease residue out that you can
Yes.
before you cook something like that, because that grease residue, even though that works fine, when that's okay when you're cooking meats and other things, it imparts a flavor to something like a pumpkin pie or a cheesecake that is not good.
You don't
Uh,
want.
yeah,
No.
you want to make sure your grill's clean. So bring your build a fire in your Kamado and take it up to about uh, 300 or 350 degrees Celsius, which
Hmm.
or
Oh
six,
dear, and
yeah,
burn
yeah.
everything. No, I have a better
I
solution for that.
yeah. So
I just got a new junior. New junior is virgin, so probably I can do in my junior.
okay, if that grill's clean, yes, use that, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
the residue from the grease smoke leaves a bad flavor on some things. And I'm fortunate
Yes.
enough here to have two Kamado Joe classics, and one of those classics I use for cooking meat, and the other one I use for everything but meat. And you're also going to
Okay.
want to use the cleanest burning charcoal that you have available to you. I don't know what I'm not sure what I know you guys have access to the Kamado Joe Big Block, but
Yes, we
so
have.
yeah, just
That's my mix. What
okay,
I
just
do,
use that.
I
You'll be fine with that. Just make sure that when you light your fire, let the grill come up to temperature, and let it. The longer you can preheat, the better off you'll be, because you'll have the cleanest burning fire possible for that. But
hmm
the grease
good.
residue is the best thing I can tell you. You don't want to have any of that when you're baking and
Yeah,
cooking
that's
non-meat things.
it's like when you bake using the oven after having uh, like big ribs that you just
Right.
made it, and it's like the same, like it's like greasy and not very
So
nice.
I learned this
Oh,
the
good.
hard
Thank
way.
you.
We'll have Tanya
Oh,
back in here in a bit, and I'll have Tanya describe some of the flavors. I've baked things in the Kamado that wasn't clean, and it just didn't taste good. It's not that you can't do it. The Kamado just needs to be properly prepared for it. And what I typically do before I was doing what I do now, I would bring my Kamado up to around 600 degrees Fahrenheit or 650 and just hold it there until I could see no smoke. And you don't have to burn it until it's white on the inside. You just have to burn it long enough until there's no visible smoke, and then your grill's clean enough to bake on. It's I think that's important. And there's honestly, there's not a lot of people out there like me that are interested in baking that pumpkin pie on the Kamado, or baking a cheesecake or a pound cake or a apple pie or anything like that. They don't step that far out of their comfort zone in the grill. But
Yeah.
the one thing, I tell people, if you can cook it in the oven, you can cook it on the Kamado grill just as
That's
well.
right.
So, and
That's
I try to encourage people to try that. And Jeff's doing a lot of that. Jeff's got a huge repertoire of things that he cooks. Jeff, what's the what have you done? Some of your favorite things to do on the Kamado that wouldn't be traditionally done on the Kamado?
Well, I've made gumbo on the Kamado. I've baked bread on the Kamado. A couple pies, cookies. I mean,
Cookies,
yeah,
Oh,
cookies, yeah.
my challenge now.
Cookies do well.
cookies do
Tend to,
excellent.
yeah, cookies are easier. The cookies that I've done on the Kamado don't tend to pick up the flavor from the smoke because they're not on there long enough. You know, a cookie bake is 10 to 13 minutes maybe on average,
Mhm.
so it's not on there long enough. And you're cooking at 350 Fahrenheit usually, so you have to,
Mm.
I apologize, Cema. I don't know all of the exact translations. I'm 350 is probably about 180 Celsius, I'm guessing.
Don't worry, I can ask my man, the American man in the house.
Well, no, here it is. I was talking to I guess I was talking to my wife earlier today. I've come up with a easy way to convert this. It's typically half or double when you're in the cooking
Yes,
temperature range. The Fahrenheit temperature, half of that's going to be your Celsius temperature, and it's not perfect, but it's close enough
very
for
close enough.
cooking.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
to
That's
get the
right. So
Celsius from a Fahrenheit, you just cut it in half, and vice versa. You multiply the Celsius times two, and you're close enough. It's not perfect, but cooking's not rocket science.
it's not. It's not.
No, not at
And
all.
I believe, I don't know, you guys, what was your biggest challenge when you started cooking on the Kamado? Like for me, and I was watching people first and listening everything. But when I went there and I started cooking, I said, it's not rock science. It's like, it's so natural. It's easy. And I got so, like, to be honest, my first brisket, because in Brazil, brisket was before, in my time and I lived there, a second class meat or cut
Mhm.
of meat, right? So now it's so fashion, everyone is cooking brisket, and but it's not. And then for me, when I did my first brisket, it was a small piece, and I did it there with all the instructions that I got on the internet. And I look at it, it's crap, didn't work. So how
Right.
can I do this work? So I start paying attention to the temperature, to the smoke. Okay, yes, but having the time to just appreciate the process and see how things change and test. And it's a test, error, test again, do differently what you can do until you get there. And cooking is this, it's not mystery. You just need to, and I cook intuitively. I don't follow recipes. If you give me a recipe, I read your recipe and I tweak it.
Right.
So,
Well, recipes are just guidelines for a
Yeah.
cook.
yeah,
People that know the methods, a recipe is just a guideline for building your flavor or getting a list of ingredients that you might need. But what you said about brisket's true. Brisket was a second class meat here until
oh, someone.
until maybe the last 10 or 12 years. Brisket was less than $2 a pound here
That's
until
right.
recently. It's
Yeah.
it's way over twice that now. But I agree. And Jeff is let's see, Jeff, what was your biggest challenge when you got your first Kamado? What was the biggest learning curve you had? Mom, thanks for hanging in here. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I think the biggest thing is learning the temperature control. Once you learn the temperature control, you got it made. I mean, that's what I experimented with when I first got it was getting it dialed into where I knew bottom vent, top vent, got this temperature. Bottom vent, top vent, got that temperature. And once you get that figured out, you're set free. I mean,
Yeah, basically, that's right, Jeff. I agree with you. And for me, it was the same, getting the temperature and the amount of charcoal as well that you want to use. For me, like how much is enough for what you are cooking right now,
Right.
and not wasting. Yeah.
Well, here's a problem on that line that I'm guilty of. When I am teaching my videos, the videos that I make, I consider them to be teaching videos more so than advanced culinary techniques. Most of the people that watch my content are watching because they want to learn something. And in the beginning, and it's something I honestly need to get away from it at this point. Whenever we're going to do a long cook of 6 hours or longer, I've taught my audience to use more charcoal than is really necessary because my audience is terrified of the idea that they might run out of charcoal and have to refuel mid cook. And a Kamado, as you know, will run forever if you fill that firebox full of charcoal. But you are absolutely correct. And this is one of the things that Chef Eric Gephardt does, and he's good at it. He knows instinctively, and at this point in time, I know instinctively also, but when I do it I have a hard time doing it on video, uh, knowing how much charcoal. I know how much charcoal I need. And the reason it's important to know that is because you're going to get the best flavor profile when you're using the correct amount of charcoal because maximizing airflow improves the flavor of that
That's right.
smoke that you're getting to get from the charcoal. So having just the right amount to where you can maximize the airflow improves everything. But that's not what I would call a Kamado 101 lesson. It's a Kamado 200 lesson. It's the next level. Uh, and what I'm hoping is that everybody that's learning from what the content I make, I'm hoping they're graduating to that over time and learning to keep the vents wide open and use just enough charcoal. So,
Yes,
and
that's right.
that's one of the things I liked about this image, this last one that we were looking at here. Uh, I believe it's here. You know, you've got just the right amount of charcoal in here to bring that Dutch oven to the temperature you need for this, and it's doing everything beautifully. It's just really the right amount. So I'm guessing this is
The junior.
that's not a
The
junior.
junior. Yeah, this is a junior. It's a
Is that a
junior.
junior? It is a junior.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
because was it's coming the Black Friday, right? So I saw this because normally the price is 7.99, and one of the biggest Kamado distributors in here. So I saw this one for 6.99 and told my man, "Hey, 6.99, let's go there." So we bought this on Sunday. On Tuesday, the big distributor was selling for 5.99. And here in
right.
Australia, they have this kind of policy. If you find someone with a better price, they beat the price and give you 10%. So
Awesome.
we went back to the store and they refund us another $160, and then we paid for that 530.
So you haven't cooked on this one yet?
No, this is the version for the cake.
Okay, yes. If that's the case, this is definitely where you want to go for the pie. And let me give you a heads up. It
Yes,
does not take much coal at all to bring that guy to temperature. So
I
it's
can imagine because yeah,
built
thank you.
actually if you haven't built a fire in it yet, I encourage you to go ahead and do that without doing a cook so you can get a
Mhm.
feel for how much coal you need in that grill. It's not much
Yes. Oh, thank
because
you. I will do.
yeah, a
Yeah, I
pumpkin
do
pie.
today.
Yeah, the pumpkin pie cooks less than an hour, so you're going to need it just a handful of charcoal to cook that. Let's
I
see
will
what's
make
next.
tonight or today. I will make Brazilian flan pudding,
Right.
and it will be takes around 1 hour in the oven. So let's see how it goes. Oh, this was last Saturday, and I was feeling so tired because I had a conference in the morning that I was part of the panel, the online breakfast panel. So I had to wake up very early, and I was tired. And oh my goodness! And I had an event to go at night, a birthday party, and this was my barbecue brunch that I made on the Ziegler.
It looks amazing.
And this is the Brazilian cherry at the end. The 3 day is just blooming now
Oh boy, look at
in the
that, Jeff.
backyard.
That's
And
giving me.
this
Is
was
that
the
just?
and this was the leftover. I believe entranha that I had because it was a big one. So I saved half barbecued and used the next day.
Wow, look at that. Yes, this is the previous. I'm scrolling
Yeah.
backwards through your
Oh, this yeah,
Instagram
this is
here.
the day before. Yeah, and then a friend of mine just commented, "You can throw the broccoli away, so you don't need the broccoli." I said, "I need the broccoli."
This
Yeah.
entrain is something I'm gonna have to see about that. I'm not familiar with this cut. Jeff, have you seen this? Is this something we
It,
can get?
it's supposedly skirt steak here.
Skirt,
Yes,
so, but
Yeah.
but
it's not cut
they
like our
skirt
skirt
steak.
steak.
No,
Well, I
it's
guess
different
maybe it
name.
is. It's just, that just our skirt steaks are typically wider than that, are they not?
They have
Some
depends where
are.
you get. Because this is I need to get my my other phone and then I show you which part it
Okay,
is. But in the skirt steak, they give so many names to the
right.
skirts in different places, you know. And then someone just challenged, oh, this is the other one, the flank that I did is not skirt.
I
Everything is
can see
considered.
it now that that's been mentioned. I see that on the texture there. That's what we make fajitas with.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's right. That's
So
right.
I can get that. So I'll play with that. That and
If you
all
go to any South American butcher, they have because of the
well,
Argentinians, the Uruguayans, the Brazilians, they have.
Jeff, if you got access to that, I know I don't.
You want
And I'm
skirt
not sure
steak?
if
Yeah.
you
I mean, I've
if
got
you have
access to skirt.
uh,
I just don't have
yeah.
access to an Argentinian butcher in my neighborhood. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
think we
look
might
into
And
have
that.
one.
talking about things I have cooked on the Hamado, I'm not sure if you have seen. This one is a cabrito. I made for the first time popcorn on the Kamado.
Popcorn
Popcorn. So
in a Dutch
yeah,
oven.
because yes, yes.
Awesome. I don't see why you couldn't do that. This is
It's so and it comes crisper and it's so full of flavor because initially while the corn are melting with the butter gets the
right.
smoke and it's so nice.
Well, that's something, Jeff, I'm gonna have to try. That should be easy enough to do in a Dutch oven. And Sema, we have a thing here in America called kettle corn. Are you familiar with this?
Yes, yes. I
Have
just
you,
made I think before that one I made pozole, the Mexican dish. Is the same, the little white one.
well, the kettle corn is popcorn that's just got you put a little bit of sugar in the oil. Have you ever
Oh,
tried
okay.
that?
No, no, no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
I
Oh
thought it was the
boy,
white one from the Mexicans that I made. I don't know the name. They have a specific name for that, and I did. I made some pozole. I don't know if
right.
you have this one. This one was a Mexican sausage, homemade, and we were just like tired and could not put a like in the filling. And, okay, let's make it as it is. So that's why the one very nice.
Sausage is something I want to try more. I saw a really neat technique that Jeff, you and I need to I want to discuss this one with Jeff a little bit later, but I want to make chorizo, and I'm not going to mess with a sausage stuffer and casings, but what I saw done looked amazing. They took the homemade chorizo and they wrapped it in corn husks and smoked
Oh,
it in the
that's so
corn
nice.
husks. Have you done that before?
No, but I can imagine how good can be.
So that's something I would like to try because it made a little individual sized sausages. And you don't eat the corn husk; you just take it out of the husk. And don't know. I guess you could eat the corn husk, but it probably wouldn't be that good. But the smoke penetrates the corn husk
Oh.
during that process. The corn husk gets soaked in water prior to the smoking process, but it looked really good.
I can imagine anything with the husk uh, gets very good. It's even like the same as banana leaf. Like in north of Brazil, we do lots of banana leaf. This is a
Hmm.
little thing, quick as one. Some butterfly like Maryland chicken. This one is pasture raised chicken and some salad with strawberries and coconut.
Oh, it looks amazing.
And normally, what I do, this is visiting one Mexican factory here. The guy is making the best corn tortilla in town. So I went to visit them, and I love it.
They're making the tortillas here.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's neat.
yes, yeah, that's pretty nice, right? And as I said to you, helping small businesses, I have been always a supporter of small business and educating small businesses uh, how or people migrants how to run a small business in Australia based on my own failure in 2010. So I create one not-for-profit organization where I teach migrants how to run their businesses, and for me it's a pleasure to be there supporting them and with their new adventures that they are the journey. So
Awesome. So you have a Kamado Joe Jr., a Kamado Joe Classic.
two, yeah, the classic two. And now that my dream came true with the junior, that I was expecting next year, early next year. So the classic three then comes next.
The Classic 3.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That to me, in my humble opinion, the Classic 3 is the Ferrari of Kamado grills. It really is. Are you considering a Big Joe at all?
Yes, I am because when we have gatherings, I found that it's but a bit of challenge to make everything at the same time in one kamado. So probably
Right.
two would help. So in I think it was September. I cannot remember. No, it was cannot remember this year. I did some Amazonian fish, and I did three different dishes. So I did on the Brazilian barbecue, on the grill, on the Weber, and the Kamado. So I had the full-blown barbecue area working. And I cannot remember when it was, but probably it was before winter, probably March, April, probably April. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think it was April for Easter, something like that, and I had 10 people. So, and also in May, I did a Mexican feast and was tortillas and all kind of meats that we could put together with the all the salsas or sauce and the molitos. And then it gets a bit tricky where we only with one. And then I think the bigger one will help a lot.
Right. I haven't had a chance to show my audience yet, but this guy right here arrived on my deck today. I have
Oh, look at that.
yeah, I bought the 26-inch Weber kettle, and it hasn't come out of the box yet, but we'll see more about that later.
It's a
I'm
big
going
hit now
to
in Australia, the Weber. It's a big
yeah,
hit.
well, I started on a Weber. Like I said earlier in our stream here, the 22-inch Weber kettle is where I started, and I'm trying now to open some doors back to the audience that I had in the beginning with the less expensive equipment. And I did a lot of soul searching, and I decided to bring in that guy. So
Ah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do we're going to do a lot of cooking on that, and I'm going to do a video soon on why I chose that one, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But it's not a Kamado grill. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to fool anybody into believing that any Weber kettle is better or worse than a Kamado grill. But it it's capable of doing most of the things that a Kamado grill can do if you're willing to do a little hands-on work. It's not as what's the term I'm looking for here, Jeff?
The Ronco. Set it
Yeah,
and forget it.
it's not the Swiss Army knife. It's not set and forget. It requires a little bit of attention, but I love it. And the reason I love it is because of the price point. The
Mm,
22-inch Weber kettle, the basic one, still here in the U.S. is $150, or maybe even a little less than that. And that's why I started that route. And had I not had a problem with that, I'd probably have never bought a Kamado grill. That's what got me interested in buying a Kamado grill. I was going to cook a pizza on the grill, and I set my Weber kettle up. I had my pizza stone on there, and we had this. I don't remember. It was February here, which is February's cold here. It's not like February in Australia.
no.
It's cold weather here in February, and I was going to cook a pizza. I had set up to cook a pizza on my kettle grill, and the problem that I ran into is I had a day outside that it was a little bit windy, and it was close to 0 Celsius. It was close to 32 degrees Fahrenheit here that day, and when I pulled the lid off of the kettle to slide my pizza on there, I lost so much heat that the pizza I couldn't get the pizza cooked in a reasonable amount of time because of the heat that I lost. And I said, that's what pushed me over the edge to start looking at a Kamado grill. And I said, at the time, the big green egg was on my radar. A friend of mine ran a shop in the mountains not far from here, and he had tried to sell me a big green egg. So I started saving my money because I was blown away when he told me how much a big green egg cost. At the time, the large big green egg and the stand and the side tables was going to be $900, and that's crazy. I got $100 grill out there, and I'm going to spend 900 on a Kamado. And luckily, in the meantime, I learned. I bought that char griller Acorn, the metal Kamado that you were talking about before. It's inexpensive. It's $300. I saw that just a couple of weeks before I was ready to go buy the big green egg, and I saw I saw that, and I told my wife was with me when we found it. Let's get Tanya back in here. Tanya, do you remember when we saw the char griller Acorn in Lowe's Hardware that night?
I do.
And I looked at that thing. It was $299. It was a lot less expensive than the big green egg. I asked Tanya, I said, I wonder how bad this could be. It's a lot less money. And typically, uh, when something's a lot less expensive, there's a reason for it. So I didn't buy it on the spot. I said, I want to go home and think about it. So I went home, and the first thing I did when I got home was sit down at my computer. I loaded YouTube and started looking. I wanted to look for some videos on this char griller Acorn. And at this point, I had been making some YouTube videos. My channel, my Man Cave Meals channel, existed at this point, but it was in its infancy, and I could not find any videos on YouTube on this char griller Acorn. So that brings up another thing. I'm asking myself, first of all, I don't know if it's any good because I can't find any video reviews on it. The second thing that's rolling around in the back of my mind is if this thing's that new, I should get one, and I should be the guy that makes the videos on this grill. So that's what I did. I bought it. I went back the next day and bought it, put it together, and started making videos. Then that is what launched my YouTube channel. That's what got me the original audience that I had. And I ran that grill through its paces, and I know people people that were starting to subscribe to my channel, they were running to buy this grill. It's like they couldn't get it fast enough. So at that point, I said I need to contact Char Griller. I said I'm going to talk to these people and see if I can get them to kind of sponsor me in some way or another. They wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't have anything to do with me. They weren't interested. I wanted they have an accessory called a smoking stone. It's their version of the heat deflector. And I was trying to get them to give me one. I couldn't get a response, nothing. So I ended up never buying their heat deflector. I was just using a metal pizza pan as a heat deflector, which worked fine. And I went on down. I kept cooking on that thing. I made a lot of video content on it for 6 months or so. I put it through its paces, and at the end of that, I said to myself, I still want a ceramic Kamado. I said, this grill's great, but it's not the greatest. And by that point, my YouTube channel had grown to the level where people were starting to contact me, say, hey, John, let me send you this, and you can use it in your videos. I was starting to get offers for free stuff, which that is that Jeff, what's the word I'm looking for here? What did that it made my head swell. It made me start thinking about a lot of things. And so I still wanted a ceramic Kamado. So during this time, I had created the Kamado Guru Forum, and I had learned about Kamado Joe. So I knew at this point, Big Green Egg is not the only ceramic Kamado option on the market. And so I sent Kamado Joe. I was impressed with them. They were a newer company. I sent them an email and made a great connection, and they offered me a grill. So that's how I got launched with Kamado Joe. But the Char Grill or Acorn is something I am also considering. I haven't decided for sure yet. I might bring another one back here. I may bring one back because I believe that grill is formidable for the person who wants to have a Kamado that doesn't want to spend Kamado money. Because no matter how we shake it out, Kamados are expensive.
Yes. I was looking at the internet, or just fixing, yeah, my phone is okay. When I start looking at for the grills, I went to see the Big Green Egg and found out that was invented here in Perth. Is that right? So that's why I came across that it was a Perth invention, and then I went to America. It's very expensive. The reason why I didn't get one was because the lid was very heavy, and I think everything everything was optional. You not get anything, just the green egg. Right. And then I said, oh, that's not off. So I went to see the Camaditos, and when I saw the one that is no thermometer on the top, and I said, oh, and heavy as well. So when I saw the Classic 2, I said that's much better option here, especially if I am doing every day. If I have to do this every day, like lifting the lid so heavy, so I decided to get the Classic 2.
Oh man, I wish Bobby Brennan could hear you say that. Bobby is the former owner of Kamado Joe, and when they designed that airlift hinge that you're talking about here, that makes the lid easy to lift, yeah. You are the customer he had in mind when that product was designed.
Yeah, so and then for me, like, I fell in love, and someone told me, the guy that it's a South American butcher, said the time when you start cooking with the Kamado, you don't want to go away anymore, and you forget the Brazilian barbecue, and that's right. I still like going to the Brazilian barbecue just because of the memories, but efficiently, it's not that kind of things. I think Kamado is much more efficient.
All right,
and by the way, before we go, just to regard the entranha, what I'm thinking of, because when you said the texture is very similar to the flank, it's just because it's close to the flank, but the entranha is it's very close to the ribs. That's why it's so tender and so delicious, like very close to the ribs and inside of abdominal of the animal. Sorry.
Okay. Cema, we had I think Tanya, you've got a couple of questions that we need to address before we close down.
Yes, we do.
There's been a couple of questions that we want to make sure we get answered. What was the first one, Tanya?
Well, the first of all was Anurag, and he was talking about different state names between Australia and the United States. And since that came up throughout the conversation, I kind of wanted to revisit that a little bit.
Okay, so Anurag, he says that the what we call a flank steak is called a skirt steak in Australia. So
Yes, so because they call it, it's not everywhere, right? So I even post some photos on the group showing even Europe they call their thicker steak or skirt or thinner skirt. So everything is part of the skirt. So when you go to buy, it depends on the butcher you go. It's how they call things. So when I posted the one that I don't know if it's the same person that asked me, but this looked like a skirt, a flank instead of a skirt. And then I got the package and I look at, so this butcher calls the thicker skirt.
okay,
So, and as I mentioned them on the background, so I acknowledge the name that they give. So yeah.
so that's a problem that we run into worldwide. I've
Yeah.
seen. I'm more familiar with the names here in the States, but there's still I still see names pop up that I don't understand. And in Europe, it's different than it is here, and then once again different than it is in Australia. Sometimes it's a challenge to figure out exactly what we're talking about when there's three or four different names for the same cut. So Tanya, what's
And
the
this,
next question? Or actually,
mhm.
go ahead, Seamus.
When I was in Europe, was very a challenge for me was to find or buy the names and also meat with fat, because in Europe no one pays for the fat. They trimmed everything. So
So that
I had to call the butcher in the shop and say, could you please cut me this piece of meat here
so what
with
part of
fat?
Europe was that? Where were you?
I was in Holland
Holland.
and Belgium.
So
Yeah.
she's over in Pitmaster X country. Uh, do you are you familiar with rural Westra Pitmaster X?
No, no, I'm not.
Okay, he's
Teach me.
Dutch.
Mm.
He's Dutch, and he's got some beautiful meat over there that I've seen. So he must have a custom butcher because he's getting the fat cap when he wants it. Jeff, have you seen rural stuff where he's getting that beautiful?
Yep.
Oh man. Okay.
He's
Anyway,
got a butcher
Beth,
somewhere.
he does.
Yeah.
Beth wants to know what your trick is for setting up your coal for a quick startup.
Well, I do start with the kamado, a little bit, and I use cotton and alcohol. That's
Okay.
it. A little bit, just a quick one, and then I have my gun, and it's done. And I wait, and when the fire is there, I just come with another brand of charcoal that is more doesn't make much smoke as well, but gives a lot of smoky flavor to the meat. So I mix the two
So,
together.
are you familiar with the Weber style charcoal chimney?
No.
No. Okay. So you light the coal in the Kamado.
Yes, I
Okay.
like.
So uh, Beth, that's one method. That's the method she uses. But Beth, I'm sure Beth might be familiar with the Weber charcoal chimney. Similar, what that is, it's a metal can that's about 8 or 10 inches tall. That's got a metal grate in the bottom of it, about 2 inches up into the can. So you put your fire starter underneath that grate and put your charcoal on the can, and it lights the coal. And the vertical nature of this can allows that
And
entire
then
chimney of coal to get lit very quickly. So that's
now you mentioned that, so come back to the names, right? So my man bought one of those for me when I had my little barbecue on the bricks,
mhm.
and was okay for me. I used, but it's a different name here in Australia. Cannot even remember the name because you
Right.
mentioned that it was like, well, but when
But
explained, yes, I had one. Yeah.
that's one method to get charcoal lit quickly because you can get the entire can of charcoal
At once,
blazing
yeah,
hot in 20 minutes or less.
that's
So,
right. Yes.
and
But
Mike
tell
says,
it
what?
the way I do here, it gets there anyway because I don't use many much charcoal at once, and
Right.
then gives the time to do all the preps while the fire is getting there.
And Mike wants to know what's your favorite cut of meat. And I think we may have covered that already.
Ribs,
Beef
ribs,
ribs. Okay.
beef ribs, and then
Yeah.
as Brazilian, that's oh picanha or ram cap. No, it's nice, but I prefer the beef ribs
So
and the big ones, the big
the,
plates.
the cap, is that picanha?
Yes, picanha.
So that's
I'll be
another
cooking tomorrow.
top. That is the top sirloin cap here in the
Yes,
U.S. Am I correct on that,
that's
Jeff?
right.
It's a
Yep.
sirloin
Yes,
cap,
that's right.
and
Yep.
that
That's
is
right.
also that one's an also critical where you leave the fat cap on it. You do not trim that off. So
No, so just the excess. If it's too high, you take a little bit off, and that's
okay,
it. But it's very juicy, and I got pretty good ones, grass fed, small ones, and I'll be cooking tomorrow around 5 picanhas for friends coming over.
excellent. Picanha is delicious. I've cooked picanha multiple times, multiple ways. Do you have Sama? Do you have the rotisserie?
No, I don't.
Are you are
I
you familiar with it?
yes, I had a look and thought about, but not yet. So probably when the three come, probably when I have the Joe 3, I will get one probably.
All right, good point. Let me give you one piece of maybe advice about that. The Classic 3 is better suited for the rotisserie than the Classic 2, and the reason
Hmm.
for that is the Classic
The
3
space that
is
you have, right?
four inches deeper.
Yes,
You're able
that's
to
I
get the
thought.
coal. Yes. So yeah, that would be a good accessory for that. So
Yes.
Tanya, what else do we have? Do we have any more?
We have one for Jeff, and this has been asked several times out there. Everybody's wondering, Jeff, what's up with all the skinny pop?
There's the answer.
All right.
I don't know what are we talking about? What's skinny
If you
pop?
look behind me,
Behind
John,
Jeff's
the
head, there's
boxes.
tons of skinny pop.
There's not
Oh,
tons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 boxes. It's stacked up on a chair.
I can't see it because it's too small on my laptop screen. So I don't know what we're talking about here. I saw those messages coming up in the side. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Now, Kathy and I this week we baked about 1,000 cookies for one school. Getting closer to Christmas, we'll probably bake 3 to 4,000 cookies in a day
Right. I'm
for
familiar with your
for school
I'm
parties.
familiar with your Christmas season cookie baking project. It's a big deal.
Yep.
So, well, we need to wrap up. We've been going a little over, but Sam, I really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And I might be hitting you up for that chimichurri recipe because my chimichurri recipe is is good, but it's not great. And I'm ready to try something from somebody who knows what they're doing. I
Please
don't want
post
to.
it on the Man Cave's Meal Group.
I
I
will.
think
I
the
will.
audience out here would really like to
I
give a
I
crack at it.
don't I don't when I decided to make I made chimichurri. In fact, the first time I made homemade chimichurri was when I did a picanha. I wanted to put that on my picanha. So of course I start researching it, see what people are doing, and my version tasted okay, but it still it wasn't bad. So I went ahead and shared it, but it's not. I think there's room for improvement, and I would like to see what maybe somebody who knows a little bit about an authentic chimichurri can help me with. And when I say authentic, authentic is a word that I hate to use because every single time I claim something to be authentic, people come out of the woodwork to tell me why whatever it is I did was
No,
not
it's authentic for
authentic.
you. So the question is, with my chimichurri, I in Brazil we don't have chimichurri the way I make. We do vinaigrette, and it's a bit different. The thing is, I don't use onions, and I do everything as intuitively. I don't have measurements. Okay, so
Right.
I put things together. But
Perfect.
the base
That's
of the good
perfect.
chimichurris, yeah. So I
Right.
show you the process, and I make a video of the process, and you see the quantity, and
Yeah.
you'll be a video recipe instead of writing everything down. Because
It's
yeah,
always about the method. It's the method more so than the quantities. And yeah, I'm curious. I'm interested in learning. So I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And
thank
Absolutely.
you very much. Yeah,
first
thank
of
you very
all,
much for the invite.
one more quick
Yes.
question. What day is tomorrow, or what day is today for you in your 365 project?
Friday.
Uh,
Oh,
no, over the year, are 297.
297. So what are you
Yes.
planning to do today?
I'm doing for lunch some chicken because it's a solo barbecue, and I have an event tonight to go.
Okay.
And I don't know yet how it come out, but at least I make a brunch because I don't have breakfast. Normally I have is the two
So
option: or I make a brunch, or I make the chicken. One of the two.
So, guys, you need to be following her YouTube her Instagram channel is scrolling across the bottom of the page here. If you're on Instagram, follow it there. If you're not on Instagram, she's posting most of these in the Kamado Guru Facebook group. So
Mhm.
it's worth watching, guys. I'm impressed by it. I'm
definitely.
inspired by it, if nothing else. I'm not afraid to be inspired by people, and she
Beautiful
inspires me as
food.
much as anybody. So, and Jeff and I've been talking about it. So, I
Oh,
said,
thank you.
I told Jeff a few weeks ago, I said, we need to see if we can get her to come on with us. And I was tickled to death when she said, I'd love to, and we were going to do this 2 weeks ago, and I apologize for that, but I'm in the middle of a job change, and I have I left the job I was working. I'm still doing the same thing, but I've moved to a new location, and for the last couple of weeks I've been in training, and I've been having to work a different schedule than I normally work, which didn't allow me to properly prepare. I wanted to properly prepare before I had you on here. So we have that, and I think we've done well. We've got a chance to meet you, a chance to learn about what you do and who you are. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming on
Thank
with
you
us.
very much.
Maybe after we complete this 365 days, I'm probably going to try to bring you back and have you back
Oh,
with us again.
wonderful.
Because
I will be continue probably. A
once the
challenge.
no actually I hope you do continue, but let's between now and the end of the 365 days, challenge yourself to something new, come
That's
up
why I
with,
like you ask you guys. Give me a
yeah,
challenge. I'm ready to accept
uh,
any challenge.
do if you want to continue to cook something every day, that's fine, but I'm going to challenge you to I don't know. One of the things I always like to challenge people to do is get outside of your box, get outside of your comfort zone. But from what I've looked at, from what you're doing, there is no boundary for your comfort zone. You've done so many different things. Jeff, what could we recommend for somebody like her to expand her horizon or challenge her? She's too good to challenge, you know.
Oh,
I
but
couldn't
I
think of a
like
thing,
challenge.
John. I mean, I look at it. I look at all her food, and it's awe inspiring. I mean, to me, it makes my food look
Yeah,
simple. I
yeah,
No,
guess is the
guys, you
most
exactly.
easy way.
inspire me a lot. You
I'm
inspire
not
me a
afraid.
lot.
I'm not afraid to admit she's another person just like Stephen Hickey who can cook circles around me. And
Oh,
I learned from people like her, so I'm excited. We'll think about that between now and the time you end your 365 days. Jeff and I will figure out something. Try to figure out some way to challenge you. I don't know what that's going to be,
please,
but
please. And as we are coming to America next year, I let you know, guys. I would like to come and visit you and barbecue together, and we can talk over a barbecue, right? So for me, it's the most beautiful experience when I have people that come and sit by my side and while I'm cooking, and I can talk. So most of the time I don't have much time to take the photos and make the videos, and I take a few ones just to make the post. But I love it. For me, it's the whole experience. And
Okay. Well, now that's a
wonderful.
challenge for me. I want to make sure that we can make that happen. Jeff, we got to think about that.
When are you
So,
coming to the States?
August next year.
August.
we got plenty of time.
Yes,
So
next
let's,
year.
when you know where you're going to be here, let us know, because Jeff and I will try to figure out a way, and I'll bring Tanya. You know, Tanya and I'll
Yes.
make a road trip. So, Tanya, you game for this?
Depends on when in August, because you know what starts back in August.
Tanya's a school teacher, so
Oh,
yeah, we'll have to sort
I
that
believe
out.
it's I believe it's second half of August.
Well, that might be a problem. So it might be a
That's a
road
problem
trip
for Tanya.
Johnny.
Yeah, John and Jeff can still go.
So yeah, and by then I'll have some vacation time. One of the unfortunate things of me changing jobs is, as of right now, I have no vacation. I got paid out for 200 plus hours of vacation time on my last job.
Let's see,
I don't
John, how
have
much
any.
vacation time do I have?
Jeff's on
I know,
permanent vacation.
365 days.
Didn't
Oh, that's
Aerosmith?
so nice.
Who was it? Tanya? Was it Aerosmith that has an album called Permanent Vacation?
Yeah.
I think
that's
so.
what Jeff's on. So yeah,
Look,
Cema, thank you for joining us, and
thank you.
we'll have you back. I appreciate it.
Yes.
It's been
And I
Definitely.
enjoyed so much the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And guys, I have been watching you and I love what you do. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thanks a lot, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you again
Thank
sometime soon. Thank you. We're gonna
Yes. Thank
shut
you.
down, guys. Y'all have a good week, and we'll see you next Thursday night.
See ya.